The world had long forgotten what laughter sounded like in Li Wei's mansion. Once, it had been a palace of joy, a haven carved from dreams and love. But now, the halls echoed with silence so thick, it clung to the walls like dust. Li Wei, once the golden boy of Asia's elite, a tech billionaire by 30 and the youngest CEO of the W Group, hadn't smiled in 6 years. Not since the skies turned cruel and stole his heart. Wen Qing, his wife, his compass, his reason. The woman who taught him that power without love was poverty dressed in gold. She was supposed to fly to Zurich for a solo exhibition of her art. Flight JL 219 disappeared midair, never reaching its destination. What was found months later was nothing but metal shrapnel and scattered hope. No survivors. No answers. No closure. The media turned it into a circus. Headlines screamed her name, speculated on engine failure, sabotage, and even divine punishment. But Li Wei had no time for theories. All he had was the perfume bottle she left behind, the faintest traces of her laughter in the corners of their empty bedroom, and a grief so sharp it sliced through the very fabric of his being. He didn't hold a funeral. He refused to bury a ghost when there was no body. He simply shut everything down. He fired the staff, sold their Swiss villa, donated her gallery to a trust. Then he sealed himself away from the world, as if retreating from life would make time reverse. 6 years passed, and with them went any trace of the man he used to be. He became a shadow in designer suits, a mystery at board meetings, a story whispered in elite circles. No one dared speak her name in his presence, not even the wind. Then, one rain-drenched evening in Shanghai, fate came knocking, not with a storm, but with a whisper. His car had broken down on a narrow lane not far from Jing'an Temple. His driver was off-duty, and the downpour was merciless. Seeking shelter, Li Wei darted into the first building he saw, a small flower shop tucked between an antique bookstore and a noodle house. Whispers of bloom, read the faded sign above the glass door, wrapped in ivy and dripping with rain. The bell above the entrance chimed softly as he stepped inside, brushing water from his coat. And then time stopped. She stood behind the counter, arranging white orchids in a porcelain vase, her fingers moving with the grace of memory. Her profile hit him like thunder. The curve of her jaw, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the faint scar above her eyebrow. Everything. She turned to greet him with a soft smile, and his heart leapt into his throat. "Good evening," she said. "You okay? You look a little lost." His world tilted. He stumbled back, clutching the doorframe. "Wen Qing," he whispered. The woman blinked, puzzled. "I'm sorry." "Your name," he choked. "Luo Yan," she replied, tilting her head. "Do I know you?"
Luo Yan.
Not Wen Qing. And yet, the resemblance was too exact. The same delicate features. The same dimple on her left cheek when she smiled. But her voice was lighter, less polished. Her clothes simple. No rings, no makeup. She was barefoot behind the counter, humming softly to herself, surrounded by lilies and ivy. Wen Qing never liked being barefoot. Li Wei fled the shop without a word, his pulse deafening in his ears. That night, he didn't sleep. The image of her face burned behind his eyelids, mocking his logic. It couldn't be her. When Qing was gone, he had accepted that. Hadn't he? But then again, hadn't he always prayed for a miracle? He returned the next day. And the day after that. Every day, he bought a flower and said almost nothing. At first, Luo Yan found him odd. Well-dressed, intense, eyes always searching her face like they held a secret. But soon, she began to soften. He was quiet, yes, but gentle.
Sad.
As if carrying a storm in his chest that never ended. "You sure love flowers," she teased once, handing him a camellia. "I never used to," he admitted. She smiled. "Then someone taught you well." As the days turned into weeks, their conversations grew. He learned she had no family, lost her parents at 16, raised herself working odd jobs. She'd started the flower shop with borrowed money and stubborn hope. She loved thunderstorms, hated oranges, and secretly wrote poetry, but never let anyone read it. There was a kindness in her that disarmed him. She didn't ask about his past, didn't care about his wealth. And for the first time in 6 years, Li Wei felt his heart stir. One night, he invited her to dinner. They sat beneath golden lanterns at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the skyline, the wind soft and fragrant. She laughed more that night than he thought humanly possible. Her laughter, light and airy, dug into his chest like thorns and roses all at once. "You still haven't told me what you do," she said, sipping her wine. "I used to build empires," he replied. "Now I build silence." She tilted her head. Running from something? He met her gaze. "From ghosts." She looked away. "I know a little about ghosts." Intrigued, he asked gently, "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out a small gold locket. "I wear this always," she said, opening it. Inside was a photo of a woman, herself, but younger. Shorter hair, thinner, a scar he recognized. "That's you," he said softly. She nodded. "I was in a plane crash 5 years ago." Li Wei's breath caught in his throat. The world spun. "I don't remember much," she continued. "They said I was unconscious when they found me near a lake in Switzerland. No ID, no memory. I spent months in a hospital with doctors trying to piece together my past. But nothing came. Just flashes.
Pain.
I started over. New name. New life. That's how Luo Yan was born." His voice cracked. "Do you remember the flight number?" She looked up at him. JL 219. His wine glass shattered in his hand. That night, Li Wei didn't go home. He paced the empty streets, heart pounding. The timelines matched. The photo. The scar. The amnesia. It was her. It had to be. But why didn't anyone find her? Why hadn't she returned? He called in every favor, summoned his best investigators. And what they uncovered turned his blood cold. One female survivor had been quietly treated in Switzerland under an alias. The file had been sealed. No known identity. Discharged and vanished. Luo Yan had never officially existed until 5 years ago, when Qing had survived. But something didn't add up. He confronted her days later. Showed her a photo of Wen Qing on their wedding day. Luo Yan dropped it in shock. "That's me," she whispered. "But I don't remember."
"You are her," he said.
"You're my wife." She backed away, tears in her eyes.
"No.
I can't be. I don't know you.
I don't know this life."
"But your hands remember," he said, reaching for her fingers. "Your soul remembers." Over the following weeks, memories began to return in fragments. A piano tune, the scent of rosemary, a scar on her ankle shaped like a crescent moon. But each memory brought pain, like thorns beneath skin. She cried in her sleep, screamed without knowing why. And one day, a letter arrived at the shop. No sender. No message, just a single photo. Wen Qing, on the plane with a man, holding hands, and a line scribbled beneath. Ask her why she ran. Li Wei confronted her that night. "Were you having an affair?" She stared at the photo, trembling. "I don't know who that is." "You lied to me." "I didn't mean to. I didn't know." "Why did you never come back?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Because I wasn't sure you'd still want me." "After everything?" His voice cracked. "I would have burned the world just to hold your hand again." "I was broken," she whispered. "I lost everything." "You didn't lose me." She looked at him then, truly looked at him, and something shifted in her eyes. But she said nothing, only turned and walked away. Weeks passed. Winter came. He returned to the silence he'd known before. Empty rooms. Old piano keys. Grief dressed as hope. Then, one snowy night, she appeared at his door, suitcase in hand. "I went to Lucerne," she said. "Our villa. It's still there. I sold it. I bought it back." She stepped forward. "I found our journals. The paintings. Our dog's old collar. And I remembered." She placed a trembling hand on his chest. "I was pregnant. The world stopped spinning. I lost it in the crash. I couldn't face you. I thought you'd hate me. So I let the world believe I was gone. I wanted to disappear.
He didn't speak.
He simply pulled her into his arms, holding her like a prayer answered. You came back, he whispered. She buried her face in his chest. I never left. I just forgot how to find you. The city slept beneath the snow. But in one warm corner of the world, love bloomed again. Not as a second chance, but as a continuation of something that had never truly ended. And in the quiet of the night, he kissed her. Not because she was Wenqing or Luo Yan, but because she was both. And because she was finally home.